I have no official position, so I can say I love him.
You love a man who randomly killed 6 people on a commuter train?
I love Colin Ferguson just as much as the masses of white Americans love General Schwarzkopf, General Westmoreland, General Patton, General...
Born. Knowledge born out loud. Just waiting on your audio to kick in. You're on mute right now. Knowledge born. Let me get my windows together here, man. There's some people that know that we own. I don't know if you can hear me. Let me chat to you. There you are. I see your video. I see your video. This one I can do that too. This is right here. I can take this one. That's Skype. That's Skype. That's good. All right. Well, all right. Knowledge born. Can you hear me? Let me see. Yo, yo, yo. Just because I see you got to raise your hand. All right, you back. You back. Allow to talk. All right, you back. All right. Let's do this. You went out and came back in. All right. Boom. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, once you promote me to panelist, then I can speak. So
Yeah, I got you. I didn't realize you left and came back in.
once you promote it, like you can see me there, but once you promote me to panelist, it does like a refresh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I promoted you the first time, but whatever the audio wasn't coming through, so I had to go back and promote you again. But it worked, so we here. So it's all good. It's all good. How you doing, brother?
Everything's good.
Take your time out with me to be a part of this dialogue. We are actually live on my YouTube channel right now. I let the folks know on Facebook as well. But the way we do it is that, we're going to always, and peace H Powell, they're on my YouTube feed. We're building up the YouTube channel and getting that going, and really just continuing to get the information out to the people as best we can.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you being here. Shout out to you. Shout out to Do the Knowledge Radio. But Born, we start every week by pouring libation. I'm going to grab my libation plant right quick, and we're going to pay homage to our ancestors. Then we're going to get started with this powerful dialogue. All right. All right. Let's do this. All right. This is a Temple of New African Unity. My name's Baba Amin Imamu Ojuwo. The temple is an interfaith, African-centered spiritual center where our goal is to achieve spiritual unity among Black people. In other words, you could be a Muslim, be a part of temple, a Christian, be a part of temple, Ifa, be a part of temple, got Rastas, they're a part of temple. Temple's been around for a little while. We're going into our 8th year, and we're very proud to say that we are actively engaged in helping African people reconnect with our roots, reconnect with our culture, and to look at the world through an African-centered lens. That being said, we're going to get started this week. Through the pouring of libations, as African people, we recognize that we are only here because our ancestors were here, and who are we to embark on any endeavor without first acknowledging those who made it possible for us to be here. Ashe. All right. So I like to start off. I like to pour libations to Dr. Amos Wilson. Ashe. And if you're watching this and you're on the YouTube feed, please go into the chat, and if you'd like to pour libations to somebody, just let us know. Put it in the chat. All right. Born, is there someone you'd like to pour libations to?
Yes, to my mother, Nadine Gilliard.
Nadine Gilliard, Ashe. We have another attendee in here too. Somebody. I invite others to come in. I don't give them all the same panelist features, you know what I'm saying? But I let them to come in and ask questions. It's not giving me a name. Let me see. All right. I like to call our basis Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Ashe. I like to call our basis to Fannie Lou Hamer. Ashe. H. Powell, if you're still watching on YouTube, who would you like to pour libations to? Please don't hesitate. All right. At this time, we'd like to pour libations to all those we have not named, but we certainly have not forgotten. Ashe. All right. Knowledge born.
Robert.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure having you, sir. I appreciate you visiting us at Temple today. how things going with you, man? How things going with Do the Knowledge Radio?
Oh man, it's an honor and privilege to be here. Finally, in this type of capacity, with my esteemed elder and teacher, Baba Amin,
Yeah, thanks.
New African Temple. So many amazing and powerful things have taken place over the space of our years of corresponding and collaborating, whether in front of the scenes or side of the scenes or behind the scenes, to ensure the success and the forward progress of African-centered future, African-centered education, African-centered entertainment, many of the arts and the sciences. So it's definitely an honor and privilege to be on the other end of the microphone for once. You understand what I'm saying?
Man. You get interviewed today, man. You get interviewed today. And I believe we met a few years ago at RBG Family Weekend, face to face. For the first time, you actually made the trip all the way from the East Coast and came down to Texas and kicked it with. I believe you won an RBG award that year.
I believe so. You know, the award-winning platform of Do the Knowledge Radio, associated here.
Yeah, we acknowledge Do the Knowledge Radio for media, for your work inside of the African-centered community, inside of the Black community, period. Your work to bring truth to the people, to provide platforms for those of us who are African-centered, for those of us who are Black nationalists, for those of us who carry an African-centered worldview. And I can't say enough how appreciative I am, and we are, and my family is, for the work that you do as an African-centered educator. The platforms don't come, they don't come easy. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to hook up with a brother that's behind the scenes, a brother that owns media, that's behind the media, and providing platforms to people who do the type of work that I do is an honor and a privilege, man. So I just wanted to give you your kudos off top before we even get into our topic today, right? Yeah, so thank you, man. Thank you for being here. For those who are out there, I ain't gonna wait till the end of the video. At the beginning of the video, I'm gonna tell you to support Do the Knowledge Radio. Tell us quickly, real quick, about a little bit about yourself, born, where you're from, what inspired you to get into media, and then tell us a little bit about your media platform and how we can support it.
All right. Well, I'm Knowledge Born Alive, Do the Knowledge Radio, the award-winning broadcast, as you heard from, I esteemed Elder Baba Amin. I got it started in media Black August of 2015. And it was an extension of a community outreach program that we were doing in our communities. So we were looking to take what we were doing physically and add a virtual component to our community. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. My mother, who I called out in libations, I got a pretty interesting birthing story. I was born 6 months premature. Well, 3 months premature. I was born in the 6th month. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yes, sir.
June of 1980. And I was the first person born in New Jersey, 3 months premature, that didn't have any birth defects. 3 months premature. So, in essence, that's the beginning of my media journey and media story.
Yeah, you came out in the news.
Right. So there was a kind of situation which the doctors were seeking to buy me from my mother in the interest of science. They said they was going to buy me and they was going to kill me and perform experiments on me to see why I was born with no birth defects and everybody else was. So what? Yeah. So, when we start talking about, certain entities and things like that, it's a very, I didn't need to read a book to find out who our enemies was. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I spent the first year of my life in the hospital in the incubator as a result of some of the experimentation that they proceeded with in the hospital. You see what I'm saying? I was born in a research hospital. So if you go to any of them hospitals and they got state or anything on it, it's a research hospital. Any hospital you walk in nowadays, it's a research hospital because they're going to research on you. And if they got to kill you in the process for their research, they'll call it practice. You understand?
All in the name of science.
All in the name of science. So, that integral part of my story led me on a certain path to learn who we are. You see what I'm saying? I learned from home who we are, and I think that's very important. When we start talking about African-centered education and controlling our narrative, when we get into a topic, that I learned who I was at home. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I love the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm, and all of the greats in that great line of divine because of my mother and my father. You understand what I'm saying? My mother and my father taught us who we are. You see what I'm saying? It gave us that proper identity before releasing us into the world. And they also trained us, along with my aunts and my sisters and brothers and everyone in my family, the importance of education. So we learned everything that we needed to learn before we went to school at home. So by the time I went to kindergarten, I was reading on the 5th grade level, comprehension, 4th grade level, multiplication, addition, division, cursive, all these other things going into kindergarten. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And what I found in that process was that the public school system was not welcoming to that particular, skill set coming from a young, African boy. You understand what I'm saying? So, later on, I would find out, what that process was about and what was really behind it. You see what I'm saying? I just saw this because we saw education in such a high regard. I respected, the teachers, the rules, the regulations, because we were reared that way from children. You see what I'm saying? So, going into that particular environment and finding the combatives. You see what I'm saying? I spoke Arabic. You understand what I'm saying? We grew up in an Islamic type of fashion, and I spoke Arabic from birth. I had to learn English in order to go to school. So this was a different type of environment which, this type of situation wasn't celebrated at all. It was actually a situation of being, combated against. You see what I'm saying? So
absolutely, because that's definitely kind of against the norm or against the grain. You had a cultural incubator at home,
right?
That kind of shaped you and molded you, and that was the primary influence on your development. Not that the outside didn't have any influence, but what I'm hearing is that you had a very strong foundation at home, and is that what kind of led you down the path that you're going now?
Right. And a birth unlike anybody else in my family. You
understand what I'm saying? You start with the youth birth, right? Yes.
Right. So, it was a situation to where in variances and degrees, we were seeing how our enemies were seeking to work on one hand and our ancestors and the creator was working on the other hand. You see what I'm saying? So they know us from birth. You see what I'm saying? And if they can't get you into a state of submission in the hospital, the next place where they give you the medication is in the education system. You understand what I'm saying? So when we get into, those first 3 of the first quadrant of those 9 areas of people activity, we talk about education, economics, and entertainment. You see what I'm saying? So those 3 are the beginning and foundational points in the spokes of the wheel of the spectrum of the degeneracy that we find in regards to our people. You see what I'm saying? So economically disparaging, educational achievement gaps. You see what I'm saying? And then the entertainment industry running rampant to show a narrative that is anti-us. You understand what I'm saying? And establishes these as normalcies in regards to behavior, socially acceptable behavior. So, on that pathway, on that way, you get a chance to see these things firsthand. You see, I was living proof of those things from birth. You see, so, at 7 years old, my mother gave me Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? They, gave me Message to the Black Man, gave me, the autobiography of Malcolm X. So at that point in time, I was not receiving information, Papa. I was receiving confirmation. You see what I'm saying? What I saw in my social circles and interactions, what I saw from home and all of these things. So, when I went into these particular texts, I was like, I know this from birth. You understand what I'm saying? So we saw the agenda at work, and that was, a whole, situation. So
Okay. Well, tell us about Do the Knowledge Radio. How was that conceived? What inspired you to do it? Tell us about Do the Knowledge.
Okay. So, this is some stuff that's going to be in the book series that's coming. You see what I'm saying? But since Baba, I'm going to give a little sneak peek right here. So, as I said, August 29, 2015, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Specific time. The show began. You see what I'm saying? Episode 1. What is consciousness? You see what I'm saying? So, as I was saying earlier, it was a virtual, addition or addendum to what we were doing, out in the communities. I was in the Pacific Northwest, and, we were doing things out there in the community. So it was a virtual component. So, we had Brother Black Dot, we had, Sinetta Call-In, we had Sutek, we had Red Pill, we had, many of the, the forerunners in the community, and to come lend us an ear in regards to what is consciousness. So as of yesterday, we were 790 episodes in.
Wow, that's what's up, man. That's what we call sustainability.
Right. So
longevity. Yes, sir.
So it was a myriad. It served two purposes, and it had a couple of goals. Do Knowledge Radio exists for the express purpose of celebrating and honoring our ancestors, elders, peer group, and future generation. That's one component. So there are many unsung heroes that go along. You see what I'm saying? Harriet Tubman wasn't the only person on the Underground Railroad. You understand what I'm saying? But we celebrate her and we honor her. And there were some situations that were put in place so we can lay claim to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe some people in our family members, that were instrumental. You see, so in regards to honoring our ancestors and our elders, also honoring our family, because family is our foundation, and without family we don't have anything. You see what I'm saying? So honoring our family, we honor our ancestors, we honor our elders, we honor our peer group, we honor our future generation. What you do every day, you and your queen, with the Huru Academy, we honor. That's how we honor and uplift our future. You see what I'm saying? And all of the Africans in the schools that are out here, that are scattered around the Americas and even on the mother continent. You see what I'm saying? Some excellent programs that are honoring and uplifting our nation. You see what I'm saying? So rebuilding our new African identity, because we suffer from an identity crisis. So the other end was the economic lens. You see what I'm saying? So we have brothers and sisters out here that are doing excellent things, who have knowledge, skills, abilities, and talents, who needed a platform to promote themselves. You see what I'm saying? So, Do the Knowledge Radio was designed as a guest-centered platform for the guests and for the callers to call in and promote themselves. Oftentimes, we have a host-centered platform where, everybody, calls in and they tune in to see, they hear Baba speak. I'm one of those ones who I want to hear Baba speak. You understand what I'm saying? So Do the Knowledge Radio provided a unique vantage point to where I want to hear from you. I want to hear your ideas. I want to hear what you got going on. Promote yourself, promote your brand, and get that out there. And then garner the support that you need in order to be self-sufficient. You see what I'm saying? So then you can lend your energy and attention to the upliftment of these other staples within the framework of the society that need our support, like a Huru Academy needs, our support. You see what I'm saying? The Amin Institute needs our support. You see what I'm saying? And the list goes on and on and on. So if you're in a space, economically, you're in a space to help fortify these long-standing institutions and, create a future from that particular vantage point. You see what I'm saying?
And
So
if we don't circulate the word, we can't circulate the doctrine. We
that's
can't
right.
circulate the resources if we don't know about each other, if we don't have access to each other,
That's
you
right.
know. And that's kind of like what I want to talk about today, because your platform provides a forum for those of us who are considered African centered or conscious or woke. It provides a forum where, like what you said, we could talk about what is consciousness. We could throw ideas out there. We could promote our programs. I know I appreciate being on there, and you, like you say, it's guest oriented. So like when we come on, do the knowledge, you're like, get them, Bob. All right, you know, and we go get them. You know what I'm saying? But you also, with Do the Knowledge, you've also helped other people launch shows and platforms as well, haven't you?
Yes. That's another, jewel. You see what I'm saying? To be able to have and facilitate a safe space where others would come on and would launch, and either they were a guest or actually just a caller calling in to support a guest, and platforms came from that as well. One of our first series was we had it was 3 platforms. It was myself, it was Jay Dizzle of Black I Stand Radio, and Rasset Amin from Planet African Network. And we had, a series where, whether you were a poet or author, an MC, artist, whatever, you could come on and, promote yourself, get your music heard, because that was a staple in which, we found a very weak area, but a great demand and great need. You see what I'm saying? There wasn't a particular platform that you could go on outside of New Black Order, BBC Radio. You see what I'm saying? That I know of, that you could get your music heard. If you were an artist, you see what I'm saying? You would go over there. They would promote you. They would help you out. They would give you that that push. You see what I'm saying? So we put our series together, and we had some artists, and because of that series, our brother Brick the Foundation had the Brick the Foundation, his series from that particular platform. Our second series was a Black Love and Communication series. Our sister, Dr. Quincy, would come on for a year. She had a year-long conversation in regards to Black brothers and sisters, dispelling the myths and the rumors in this, fake gender war that's out there that exists between, brothers and sisters. How, in this space of love and unity, we can communicate with one another. So that was, another series. We had a Black Survival series. You see what I'm saying? That's still in existence to this day, 3 years and running. By the National Minister of Defense of the Black Riders Liberation Party and the Deputy Minister of Defense of the New Black Panther Party under National Chairwoman General Crystal Muhammad.
She was with us last week. She was our guest last week.
Right. So, following great footsteps over here. You understand what I'm saying? Minister King Samir Shabazz, he teaches Black Survival. You see what I'm saying? Every Wednesday. So, that program has been long-standing and running. We had the sister Shakti, Everlasting Peace, Earthball Shakti Turner, with her particular series dealing with healing, dealing with reconciliation. It was a powerful series that was there. You see what I'm saying? So we had the first, and I believe it was the only series where our brothers and sisters who made repatriation from Chicago 50 years ago to Dimona, Israel, there's those African-centered Israelites. You see what I'm saying? Here's a jewel for that, Baba. The delegation from the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey from Liberia came to Chicago in 68 time frame, and said there was some brothers and sisters that were so desirous of repatriating. So they took me to Liberia, and then from Liberia, they went to Dimona, Israel, and they've been there for 50 years. So we have a story of repatriation amongst our people in the midst of all of this stuff, where we go back and forth and say, well, we ain't this or we ain't that, and RBG don't mess with, Hebrews. How did they get to Africa? You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So we had a long-standing history that is more unified than it is interrupted. You understand what I'm saying?
That's why the topic for tonight is controlling the narrative. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get into that because as someone who's in media, someone who owns a media platform, and I mean some of the things that you describe, everything you describe, that's unique Black media. You know, and I'm not sure if that's good news that it's so unique, but it's unique Black media with telling stories and providing us with information that we need, that a lot of us are seeking but don't know where to find it, because we think number one, we think that the news is MSNBC.
Right.
We think it's CNN, right? And then beyond that, we think that Roland Martin is Black news.
Right.
You get into the Roland Martins and then your Al Sharpton show and that sort of thing. And then that's Black news, right? And you have many of us that are out here really seeking more information, and we realize that these platforms are already out here.
Right.
That exist, you know, and a lot of us try to dive into areas that maybe not even be our cup of tea. It's like, man, it ain't nothing. Nobody's doing this. And the fact is, if you could, chances are somebody's doing it. Like when you mentioned the repatriation with the Hebrews and things like that, somebody's doing it, you know, and we need media. We need to control our narrative in order, you know, to get this information out here. We need to control the narrative, because I encounter people coming into consciousness, and they come into consciousness feeling like they the first conscious person
ever.
Yeah, I did. And I'm not dissing. The thing is, unlike yourself, like you had an upbringing, and many brothers and sisters have, but not a whole lot, where you had consciousness in your home, you had culture in your home. A lot of us, like myself, I encountered consciousness, quote unquote, when I got to college. Prior to that, in an all-Black neighborhood, going to an all-Black high school, I had no concept or knowledge of self. I did a paper on Marcus Garvey in 11th grade, and it didn't even resonate with me. You know, I'm looking at it like, that's them people, that's them old Black folks from back in the day. Just give me my A so I can move around. It wasn't until I got to college and it hit me, and I'm like, whoa, I've been looking at the world through a European lens the whole time. You know what I'm saying? And so the work is valuable. The need to control our narrative is valuable. We're going to do some media literacy type things tonight. All right. Because I think that as a media, I'm going to call you an RBG media mogul.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You know, I think that you are the perfect expert to bring on to discuss, talk about how, when I look at the news, how do I decipher what I see in the news from an African-centered perspective, right? For example, let's just bring up government shutdown, right? We'll look at some things on the surface and we'll see, is the government shut down? Trump done shut down the government. You know, Trump is the boogeyman, right? If you're looking at the major white media outlets, Fox News, pro-Trump, MSNBC, anti-Trump. And so a lot of our people think, okay, our friends are at CNN and MSNBC, our enemies are at Fox. Now, as an African-centered person and somebody in media, this dynamic between Fox over here and MSNBC over there, what is that beyond the surface? Are we being distracted? What is that beyond the surface?
In that first tier, you have education, economics, and entertainment.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our greatest tool for liberation is also being used as our greatest tool for degradation, entertainment, and education. You see what I'm saying? So an economic standpoint is being used in that case as the foundational pieces because you can't see it. It's beneath the surface. So education and entertainment is being weaponized and funneled and channeled through an economic lens to keep us in a state of dependency, interdependent upon those who benefit and profit from this host, virus, this host type of situation. You see, Sam, this predatory type of parasitical relationship. You see what I'm saying? To have us one way or the other one. You see what I'm saying? In this book right here, Blueprint for Black Power, right here. You see what I'm saying? Bobby Emmons Wilson gets into how the media became the media through a chart on page 34 of the book. It says, we know the FCC. You see what I'm saying? Let's go back before that to 1927. The Federal Radio Act authorizes the award of radio station broadcast franchises to private citizens. This is 1927. Under settled policy of the federal government, no grants were made available to Negroes. Radio broadcast licenses, currently valued in the billions, now held almost exclusively by whites. You know what I'm saying? 1927.
Of independent media, via radio, whatever. We was written out of it. It was written. Negroes can't get in the game.
Right. And this was a monopoly that they created. Now let's go down to 1939. The Federal Communication Commission, FCC, issues their first licenses to television broadcast station. 1939. No grants were made to Negroes until token awards in the late 70s. What TV shows was on, Bobby, in the 70s? You understand? And who was they controlled by? And how much of a head start did they have? You see what I'm saying? So when we first started seeing ourselves out of the likeness of the Sambo, you see what I'm saying, step and fetch it type of imagery, who was controlling the narrative of how we see ourselves and how we are shown to the world and from what end? You understand what I'm saying? So in 1980, all television franchises valued at $5 million to $10 billion held exclusively by whites. So now we see a change and the timeline. So it's not just, like hey, you babbling off, you just talking noise, and it's a conspiracy theory, and everything's a great conspiracy. You see it written in black and white, and how long the lens in the guise of media, again, funded through economic means for the purpose of distortion. You see what I'm saying? For the express benefit of keeping them in a position of power. This book by our sister, Marimba Ani, Dr. Remember Ani, speaks about power, and power in the eyes of a European is control over another. See what I'm saying? So when we're looking at this Yoruba behavior,
and history backs that up.
Right. You see what I'm saying? We see how these things are used as misdirection tools. But as, our great ancestor, Baba Dick Gregory, and, Baba Steve Coakley, and many of the other greats who taught us to look at these from a particular lens, who taught you how to watch the TV, how to watch the news, how to read the paper, all of that, because they have a duty and responsibility to their people to leave them encoded messages. So just like it looks like they can feed you the poor immigrant, we came over to this country as poor immigrants and pulled us up by the bootstrap. If I read you this timeline from the 1800s until now, just from that same book, you'd be like, wow, this is why. You understand what I'm saying? And it kind of puts you in a position to where, okay, I'm not crazy. You see what I'm saying? There is some things that are at work. There are family systems that are at work, and they are in power, and power in their eyes is control over another people. You see what I'm saying? So you can see this hold on the planet, and it's used through a psychological lens called media. You understand what I'm saying? So we could look at a third world country and look at North Korea and say they have a golden shield on their media, so they control what their people see to paint that same picture. You see what I'm saying? And we're in the same type of environment where they tell you it's snowing over here and it ain't snowing over there. You understand? Meanwhile, it's snowing over the place where they ain't saying it's snowing and it ain't snowing over there. You see what I'm saying? So that same sleight of hand. You see what I'm saying? That same sleight of hand, where they could show you an ex-president drinking from, the drinking water and saying everything fine in Flint, and damn well shit ain't fine in Flint. You understand?
And fake drinking, like that.
right.
Drinking. And using, a brother online made an interesting point the other day, and he was saying that, even the people we love in the media are most dangerous.
Right.
You know, like someone like Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, they're even more dangerous because you fall in love with them. You fall in love with them. So when Obama drinks the water in Flint, right, while the people in Flint are appalled and insulted, when Obama drinks it, for those of us who drinking the Obama Kool-Aid, well, everything's right in Flint.
Right.
Okay, it's not a Okay, if you call it a genocide, you're an extremist.
Right.
Now, if you call it a crime against humanity, you're an extremist because surely Obama wouldn't have went to Flint and drank the water and not fought for the people of Flint unless it wasn't. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. And they gave you a movie in February. They gave you a movie in February. We was doing this and we had all this stuff going on. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
and we was cheering for the death of our liberator and celebrating our neo-colonialist rule. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with the same type of veracity, you see what I'm saying? It's almost a year now. You see what I'm saying? And this was the highest grossing film in Marvel comic universe history, and it ain't win no awards. You see?
But I tell you what, the most powerful symbolism in that movie for me was when he was at the casino table, and the ruckus, the bad guy came in, and then Stan Lee made his cameo.
That's it.
And took the money chips. So I'll just hold on to the money chips, kind of letting you know the chips coming over here. Right. The chochos are coming. The money's coming. Y'all enjoy this. Y'all enjoy the imagery, but the money is coming over here. The dollars are coming this way. You know what I'm saying? And
right before he said that, the other guy said, "Hey, you want? I hold on to this for safekeeping." This is what he told him. He said, "I hold on to this for safekeeping." Right.
So it is a trip because that's kind of been the progressive media formula. Right. We can talk about progressive. That's kind of been the formula with our Jewish allies. They kind of like, you can go drink out the water fountain, but put your money in my bank. I'm gonna hold your money. You can tap dance. I'll make you famous, but I'm gonna hold the what? I'm gonna hold the money. I've been noticing the argument, for example, between Dame Dash and Funk Master Flex, or Dame Dash going at Leo Cohen, who's kind of been the Jew behind the scenes, for the whole East Coast Def Jam explosion or whatever. But Dame's call him a culture vulture, and so are there culture vultures in media? Let's talk about DJ Vlad, for example. What's your opinion about platforms like DJ Vlad? Or some say that he's a culture vulture. What do you say to that as a media person?
I say that they control the entertainment industry and they decide who we see and who we don't see. You see what I'm saying? So, I can run down a list to people, media platforms that you should pay attention to. And I could care less who you shouldn't pay attention to, but you should be wise to deception. You see what I'm saying? So, Doggy Diamonds TV, you see what I'm saying? That's a reputable place for you to pay attention to. You see what I'm saying? By me, you could come to Temple every Sunday. You see what I'm saying? He's gonna be here, rain, sleet, hail, snow, whether you got 2 hours of sleep or not. His queen ain't playing that. You understand what I'm saying? These are reputable platforms. Get This Wisdom magazine. You see what I'm saying? That's a reputable platform. Black I Stand Radio, My Skin Is My Sin Radio. My brother, Psychopathia, he has a channel on YouTube, him and Sister Renee, powerful platform, Black brother and sister working together collaboratively to bring us this information. You see what I'm saying? So for every Revolt TV or Breakfast Club or any of those other places, you see what I'm saying, that are leased and financed to sway popular opinion, to character assassinate, to destroy the mental fabric, the framework of your African mind. Why would you even give them a space and opportunity? Why wouldn't you spend your time talking about Action One Media out there in Houston? You see what I'm saying? Or my brother from KPFT, my brother Cedric out there in Houston. You see what I'm saying? So why would you go out your way to find those media outlets that are promising? My brother Raheem Shabazz out there in Georgia. You see what I'm saying? Why wouldn't you go out of your way to find those media outlets that stand for us. You see what I'm saying? That are uncompromising, that and will give you the platform for you to be heard and for you to promote yourself.
I think it's time to put another little digital directory together.
That's
a little
right.
guide, just like back in the day when you was traveling and you was black in the Jim Crow South, you had to have that green book.
Green book, that's right.
You know, to tell you where the safe spaces, where to go. I think we need a media green book, a black book, you know, that highlighting those platforms that you said, because, you know, if you go get your go look at your Vlad, or go look at your Breakfast Club, and you can pull some things from that. But we definitely need to know where that real information is, because when you don't have nothing to compare that stuff to, you think that's where the consciousness is.
Right.
You think that's where the real information is, and I don't think they understand that a lot of the folks who are just now wanting to twist their head and act, quote unquote, woke, they're watching people who are actually in the movement and doing a lot of emulating. They're not really doing a lot of studying, a lot of activism. They're doing a lot of emulating because it's kind of popular, but it kind of helps the enemy water down revolutionary thought. Because Common gonna come and say, yeah, black queen, no, but this is my white brother right here.
Right, he's gonna play with you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna let you be black, blah, 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 blah. Let me bring you back over here and tell you need to go buy some Gucci. Right. Let me bring you back over here and let make sure you're still spending your money in this area right here, though. You know what I'm saying?
A perfect example of that. The young brother, they just had the young brother Soldier Boy on Breakfast Club.
Yes, sir.
And the brother was like, I'm an entrepreneur. I paved the way for this and this and this and this. And what did he have on his forehead?
Yeah, the brand that got the most visual was Gucci.
Right. So if he had his own, you know, if he was going to do that in that way, I'm wearing my own stuff. You understand? Like, he had his video game. I was like, man, you see, but I was paying attention to where the camera was panning on, because this is all theater. You understand what I'm saying? So fake outrage is not the same as righteous rage, if you understand what I'm saying. So fake outrage, you see what I'm saying? This fake, you know, push. You see this fake African Senate news that they got going on out here. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So now we like, you know, it's cool to have the buffoon out here to be a mouthpiece. You see what I'm saying? Not calling that brother the buffoon. The platform he was on was dealing in buffoonery, period. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, there's no argument there. Right. So you can it's you know, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad called it trick knowledge. You see what I'm saying? When you mix truth with falsehood, you have trick knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So this trick knowledge to be able to control the minds and the hearts of the people. You see what I'm saying? So if I control the diameter of your thinking, I know exactly what you're gonna say, and I tell you what to say. Just like a cue card. You see what I'm saying? Just like that, you know, you know, the what they call it thing at the awards that go up, they read that little script or whatever that they got.
Yeah, the teleprompter.
The teleprompter. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, Charlemagne was his teleprompter. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, we would look at that situation when they took an impressionable young man that had a vision and he was passionate about what he was saying, but they already let him know, like, okay, we got this under control with the Gucci across his forehead. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, if it was his clothing, if it was, you know, Ron Green's, you know, hella black, hella proud. You understand what I'm saying? If it was any other indicator other than what he was pushing, it was two things that was for sale. He was for sale, and so was his product. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, this expressed outrage was, you know, a way to use that clever media strategy, you see what I'm saying? Clever marketing tool, you see what I'm saying? To promote, a dualistic agenda. You see what I'm saying? So we got to be wise to those. So that's why, you know, our media platforms and controlling our narrative is so important, is because they don't have to do that. They don't have to go and get interrogated by DJ Vlad, because he's going to interrogate you and have you incriminate yourself for his particular game. You see what I'm saying? That's a savage. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, when you start looking at those, you know, particular things, you see what I'm saying? You look at who promotes them and who pushes them and who's always over there. You see what I'm saying? Got to pay attention to that stuff. And then as a result of that, you know, situation with that, what comes as a result of that? You see what I'm saying? Because if you you know, the lesson used to say, why does the devil keep us apart from his social equality? You see what I'm saying? Because we are running from amongst him, you know, saying who he really is in short. You see what I'm saying? But now with this, you know, host parasitic relationship, you thinking, okay, in order for me to blow up or in order for me to be, you know, in the limelight of the mainstream, I have to be seen here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not the thing that our ancestors did. You know, when Dr. Khaled went on these particular shows, when we look at Brother Malcolm, when we look at Dr. Francis Tress Wilson, when we look at our honorable ancestors, they used those platforms as springboards to get the message widely across. And he knew and she knew by the time that the pen hit the paper that they was going to vilify it and turn it into something else. You see what I'm saying? So the same age-old type of imagery is being used and same age-old type of tactics are being used to do that in the same type of fashion.
Wow. So because woke ain't woke.
Right.
As far as a lot of things that I'm seeing, like you see people who are blowing up off of so-called consciousness or this fake rage, like the one they call Talcum X. What is it? Sean King? What's his name? Sean? They call him what Talcum X, right? You know, but these are the progressives to people. Like these are, you know, the progressives. Then you have fights that have been going on for decades that are still considered taboo. You still can't say free Mumia in the mainstream. You know, you can't say free Larry Hoover in the mainstream. Whereas when they covered Kanye in the White House, where everybody was mad that he was hugging Trump, I was elated that he brought up Larry Hoover.
Right.
You know, who else is bringing it up?
But after they mentally lobotomize you, they use that tactic to make you appear as if, oh, okay, he's off his rocker. You see what I'm saying? He ain't he running around with a "Make America Great." You see what I'm saying? Hat on. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, they present you, they give you your hero and villain in the same sense. You see what I'm saying? If y'all remember wrestling back in the day, when Hulk Hogan came out, he was bad first. You understand what I'm saying? They were booing Hulk Hogan when he first came out, and then they changed his image, and then they gave him, you know, the Hulkamaniacs. You understand what I'm saying? Did he change to anybody could? No. You see what I'm saying? Years later, you would hear how he really felt about you. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So like nothing ever changed, no matter what. You see what I'm saying? So they give you the Hegelian dialectic. They give you, you know, the problem, and they become the solution. Right. And then the solution. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, and
the solution with guys you into your real problem.
Right. And they still the same damn problem.
With the crime bill, 1994. Right. Same thing. The media began to portray our community as a war zone, began to portray our children, us, because I was the youth at that time, as super predators, as Hillary Clinton so eloquently put it. And next thing you know, he's in churches and everything, and black folks like Clinton finna save us. Here comes the 1994 crime bill, and all that was the re-enslavement of black people in America. It was mass incarceration, you know, and we kind of asked for it, but the media helped mold the problem, because everything that was reported, another drive-by shooting, another shooting, they just killing.
What else was happening simultaneously, Baba? What movies were out? You understand? What movies were out?
Yeah.
You know, Boys in the Hood, Minister Society, South Central. You understand what I'm saying? Poetic Justice. All of these films were out simultaneously at this, you know, particular time. What was on the TV? You see what I'm saying? What was on the TV? You remember Rock was on TV. You remember In Living Color was on TV. All of these things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that guise of entertainment became the true education. So you wasn't paying attention at school the next day because you were talking about what you saw on television the night before. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, did you see Living Color? Or did you see the basketball game? You understand what I'm saying? Oh, you know, I gotta get Jordans. All of these things. You see what I'm saying? These all became a part of a value system that was foreign to us, but we ingested it. You see what I'm saying? So, excuse me 1 second. The image of the black man, woman, and child is something that was created in the mind of white Jewish men. You see what I'm saying? So the loud attitude, neck shaking, all of that, all that stuff came from 227 and Martin and all the white Jewish male taught you how to be a black man, woman, and child. You understand what I'm saying? You know, behavior.
Imitating this art.
Right. So what's socially acceptable? You see what I'm saying? So they control this, the hip hop industry. You see what I'm saying? So they tell you what your children value and what they don't value.
Conspiracy theory when you say they control the hip hop industry. All y'all got to do is go look. All you have to do is just do a little research, and you'll see who control. Even artists from back in the day tell you they didn't pick the songs that go on their album. Right. They didn't have the final say. You know what I'm saying? And so once that type of shit became a cash cow that not only made some white folks a whole lot of money, but suppressed a lot of black people mentally at the same time. Right. You had a win-win situation. You had a self-refueling oppression, right?
And there was a point where the entertainment industry was used to thwart the progressive black revolutionary struggle at the same time. You see what I'm saying?
You feel like the media played a role in, like, when my generation came up, success for a black person was to grow up, graduate from college, get a job, and move out of the hood. And the main thing, people, they used to come to my school, man, you can get out. You special. You can get out. You can get out. What role do you feel the media played in pushing that agenda, you know, for us to abandon the black community? And what effect do you feel like it's had on our community?
Look at the movies. You know, look at the movies. Ricky from Boys in the Hood, he was going to make it out. He was supposed to be going to the military. You see what I'm saying? And Trey was telling him, hey, you know, you basically leaving one span of control for another one. You see what I'm saying? In so many words. And he was killed. Sharif was leaving. Sharif was killed. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, there's a situation right here where you know, it's perpetuated, and these things, you know, happen with, you know, Reaganomics and all of these things to make your project a project. You see what I'm saying? So it was a project made out of your project. So it was a graduation for you to leave. You understand what I'm saying? It was a graduation to leave, you know, brothers and sisters behind enemy lines, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you even hear some of this stuff today with some of these people and how they relate to places that they came from. You see what I'm saying? So when you have the situation where you are no longer in control of the politics, the economics, or anything in your community has been overtaken. You see what I'm saying? And all of
segregation.
Right.
That's true segregation. Malcolm said segregation is when the politics and the economics in your community are controlled by people from outside of your community.
That's right.
And so I cringe when people say, at least we're not segregated. No, we're more segregated now than we've ever been.
Right.
Than we've ever been. And segregation never left, it intensified.
Token social integration as a tool, because it wasn't integration. We never integrated. You understand what I'm saying? We went into a concentrated area which was inhabited by Europeans. You see what I'm saying? And we're localizing that particular area, and they moved out. You see what I'm saying? And they controlled all of the businesses, all of the buildings, all of everything else. And then when they were tired of that commute, they came back in. We see gentrification again. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a situation to those stakeholders who have a vested interest in being the bloodsuckers from that community. You understand what I'm saying? So that whole environment right there, you know, created a situation of control. You see what I'm saying? A situation of unrest. So when we look at those uprisings that took place, you see what I'm saying? You know, folks want to call them riots. You see what I'm saying? Those uprisings and stuff, those insurrections that were taking place, those places were never, ever even rebuilt. You see what I'm saying? So when we revolted in those,
and I don't think you realize, Born, what a cash cow a poor community really is.
Right.
That a poor community is poor because money is being generated there but taken away from.
Right.
But poor communities are cash cows. These are neighborhoods where merchants can make money and don't have to pour no money back into.
No system of accountability, no system of responsibility. No matter how destructive and poisonous the particular food is or the particular services are, all of that. You understand what I'm saying?
So when people say, well, they burning down their own stores. They're not burning down their stores.
Right.
The tragedy is not that we're burning down these stores. The tragedy is that we're not building these stores. And then we look at who's not building the stores. You can't look at Pookie and them no more. Now you can't look at T-Lo and them no more. Now you got to start looking at your A honor rolls and your folks that get it and that whole agenda to lead. You know, the whole agenda. I'm successful. Now I'm not just talking about the projects. I'm talking about the residential areas where the houses and the trees and all that. Where you leave and the only time some of them come back is because they still go to church in that neighborhood. If they go to church at all, you know, you got to start looking at your black leaders. Why we can't get black investment dollars inside our communities, you know? But the media, I feel, again, when you don't control a narrative, now if you say something about, if you criticize a successful black person, we ain't having that.
Right.
We ain't having that. And that's kind of how the R. Kellys of the world get to do what they do as long as they want to, until the media actually turns on them. Like until the mainstream media actually will turn with the mainstream media. But if the mainstream media ain't turned, then we ain't turned. If it's just kind of among us because we have this inclusion attitude, this he gets access, that we want access. You know, quit hate. Don't hate on Tiffany Haddish. Don't hate on Kevin Hart. Don't hate on them because they getting nerves and How does the media feed that?
It creates the diameter of thinking of you being in a position to have a spirit of discernment as something that is wicked. You see what I'm saying? So you say, okay, this is poison water right here, and I'm not going to drink it. Oh, you know, 50 Cent came out with that water, man. That water good, man. You see what I'm saying? See, that's why we can't rise as a people, because no, it's poison water. You understand what I'm saying? It's poison water. Regardless of who came out with it, it's poison water. You see what I'm saying? So you have twofold with media. Media allows you the latitude to laugh at your own destruction. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you know, look at you funny when you upset about your own destruction. You know what I'm saying? To punish you with death as the punishment for being outraged about the condition that you found yourself in, that you were just laughing at.
And therein lies a real issue. Because I believe that every aspect of Black life story should be told. You know, I don't want to look up and it's just the rosy side of Black life. No, you know, every side, you know, should be told. But if we don't build the institutions to give that perspective is just, it's not going to be there. And if we don't support those who are trying to do it, how many Black independent filmmakers have the door shut on them, whose work and stories we'll never see or will never hear, you know, because of Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? What can media, let's talk solutions. What does controlling our own media do for us? What do you see?
In regards to our story,
in regards to our story, in regards to our opinion of self, you know what I'm saying? In regards to our narrative, our story as a people.
So those first three, all 9 areas of people activity, those 9 areas. When you're talking about entertainment, economics, and education, you see what I'm saying? Media aids in the proper the proper display of us educating our own children. You understand what I'm saying? So a media outlet should be attached to the Huru Academy. A media outlet should be attached to, you know, the Ackerman Institute, the Ackerman House. You see what I'm saying? A media outlet should be attached to Freedom Home Academy International. You see what I'm saying? What Baba, you know, Samori Kamara, with you know his line with Kamali Academy, with Q Butter over there in New York, a media arm, you know, independent of what you have to do your own self in order to keep the doors open, in order to keep the lights on. You see what I'm saying? There should be a media task force that highlights that, area of education, that highlights the areas of economical gurus that are out here that are solution based, that are solely for the progression of our people. You see what I'm saying? And the entertainment, industry. You see what I'm saying? They have in law, they have just entertainment law. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's just an arm within itself. You see what I'm saying? So there's a media arm that should be attached to the proper facilitation of our image through our entertainment industry, through our entertainment industry. You see what I'm saying?
And the technology today allows for that, right? Like the tools are here to make that happen. Which feeds right back into the education, because we need to be educating ourselves or linking with the brothers who have the technical skill to put this stuff together as well. So you and I, even going live now, instead of using Zoom, we have an African-owned platform that facilitates live webinars. Instead of a YouTube, we're using an African-owned platform to go live, because I figure, man, if I ain't gonna have but 6 or 7 viewers on YouTube, I might as well go on and start out on a Black-owned platform and just build my audience there. And do you see us? Because and it leads me into my next question. I've jumped on some Black-owned social media sites over the years, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I always come back to Facebook. And do you see us? I remember when we had Black Planet. Remember Black Planet?
Yeah.
I remember when we had Black Planet. Now, Zuckerberg in the new, he's selling everybody information.
Right.
He abusing us every which way, right? How do we shift? I just want your input, man. Why is it so hard to get us to shift from this platform, these white-owned platforms, to a Black-owned platform? Or better yet, what will it take to facilitate that shift from the white-owned platforms to Black-owned platforms that exist? Shout out to my partner, Site. I'm actually a minority partner in a platform called mopower.com. And it's a social media network that we're building here in the South. We also have KOTF Teleradio Network that we're developing here in the South. Of course, one of the challenges is partnering with Black-owned businesses and getting consumers over here to join and be committed to the platform. What do you see as someone in media? What do you see as some of the challenges, and what do you see as some of the solutions?
There's some challenges, because of the type of the type of censorship. You see what I'm saying? The AdSense wars and all of those things. You see what I'm saying? That came out that stifle a lot of the progress in the way of economic type of situation. You see what I'm saying? To where compromise had to be made. So now folks is we're stirring up our own trick knowledge. You see what I'm saying? We're stirring up a situation to where it's intellectually ratchet. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so like this is the type of diet. And, I say to, anybody who's on social media, if you have a product, if you have a service, every means of social media should be at your disposal. If you're selling books, if you're selling any sort of your intellectual product, stop looking at social media as a place to be social and weaponize social media as a means to grow economically and to garner the connections you need for your liberation. You understand what I'm saying? So if you're on social media to just be social, to be chatty, you understand what I'm saying? You're not using this weapon of opportunity at your disposal, period. You understand what I'm saying? If you're not on all of the social media sites, what we need is African social media propagandists. You understand what I'm saying? To create a situation where we can garner enough resources to pay them. So if you're going to be on the internet all day long, we tell you what to promote. You understand what I'm saying? We tell you what to promote. We tell you where to promote it and how to promote it. And we send you a check at the end of the week. You see what I'm saying? So now we can take this, notion of, they just on social media all day, keyboard warrior. You need a keyboard warrior out here. You understand what I'm saying? Because, everybody and their mama, there are people out here doing work. You see what I'm saying? So Bobby can't be on the internet 24/7. His queen can't be on. Those African Senate liberators that are out there, those brothers and sisters that are out here growing food and things like that, they need to take a portion and set aside a portion and say, hey, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or whatever, to promote, you see, to invest in those African-centered propagandists. You see what I'm saying? To be able to push and be out there posting all day long. You see what I'm saying? All day, whatever, 24/7 on that cycle to get that out. You see what I'm saying? This is why, folks tune into, these larger corporations, because they have a budget for their marketers. You see what I'm saying? You don't even know who the hell works at Fox or CNN or any of those other media outlets. You see what I'm saying? You might see some correspondents. You see what I'm saying? Those faces, in places, but there's an entire army that's around that. That's why they're, glued to a global market. You see what I'm saying? And we're existing in a global marketing place. So you should be using these tools or these propagandists to get this proper propaganda on all around the globe. The internet is a global place with global reach. You see what I'm saying? So if we want to build this around the globe, we have to use these tools at our disposal in the proper way. You see what I'm saying? So if I was using an axe, as a hammer, you understand what I'm saying? And somebody came and instructed me how to properly use that axe and what it was used for. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm using the axe in the way that it was intended to be used. You see what I'm saying? So I could care less about anything else other than using this axe for what it's supposed to. You see what I'm saying? So, that's how we don't, fall victim to the victim psychology and the victim consciousness, or we not being seen and heard. No, we need to empower and ensure that those who are in those positions
and what's beautiful about what you said, like this younger generation of youth, they done figured it out.
Right.
They know how to do it.
Right.
And it's a perfect opportunity to partner for a Black business community, to partner with the youth and provide opportunities for young Africans who live on social media, who live on the internet. They understand how to do it. They know how to get views up. My students, my elementary school and junior high students, I have a junior high student, 13 years old. He can break down his whole strategy as a YouTuber. That's right. On how to get subscribers and how often you have to put content on YouTube and that sort of thing. Like if our children were receiving some real empowerment-based education right now, they have your baby could generate income and circulate dollars right now.
That's right.
Right now.
I see it so many ways. You see what I'm saying? And again, back to the entertainment industry, you see what I'm saying? I see these young folks, they working collectively through cooperative economics, and they're on each other's videos and all of that. You understand what I'm saying? They're talking about real life situations where Africa changed on. You see what I'm saying? Where Black by popular demand, hella Black, hella proud, and it has nothing to do but be a trophy and a staple in there. You see what I'm saying? From that, they're creating their own lines of clothing in all kinds of situations. You see what I'm saying? So they're doing what they're going to
niche market. Right there, yes.
Right, from their phone. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. They're able to hire people. They have crews. They all work together. You see what I'm saying? Next, they work together. They show a person in their video a couple of times, and then they launch their own platform. And then they go over to their platform and make sure that it's good, that it continues to grow. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a virtual susu that they got going on. You see what I'm saying? Right in front of our face, and we're not tapping into it because we super dashiki over here, like
we caught up in the content. You know why? Because we want to be entertained too.
Right.
And consciousness has become entertainment.
Right.
For many of us. Right. And so if it's Cardi B and she you can't look past her to see what is the marketing strategy. What software are they using? What
right.
apps? You know what I'm saying? You know, what's going on? What's the business
Right.
model? You know what I'm saying? And how can we apply that business model? You know, what lines up with your values, your character, whatever. How can that apply to what we're building? You know, we say free the land. You know, well, you got to buy the land.
Right.
You have to acquire the land if you're gonna free the land. You know,
right.
and so that means we have to do business. Money moves fast now.
Right.
Money, the shea butter sale at the table ain't gonna do it. The money moves fast now, you know, and there's so many careers out here that are empowerment based careers. If you're doing internet security, you work for yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you can code, you working for yourself. You know, and people say the internet is big brother. No, this is just a internet. It's not the internet.
Right.
I think sometimes we think that certain things a white man made in the lab and can't nobody do it but him.
Right.
You know, no one else can harness a signal where you and I can communicate from one machine to another.
Right.
We have to get on a .com. We have to get, you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's not the case, you know. And I think those are some of the chains that we have to break in order to move this thing even further. While the article says use your enemy's resources as your own.
Right.
But we definitely need to be parlaying what we get over here into building sustainable institutions for ourselves. Right. And the media is a big part of that. Brother, how can we support Do the Knowledge Radio?
Well, we have what we got? I gotta remember this stuff. You see what I'm saying? We have what is that? We got a PayPal, you know, Do the Knowledge Radio 19 at Gmail for our PayPal, you know.
Okay.
And we also got the Cash App. Let's see what this Cash App thing is. I gotta keep up with this stuff. You see what I'm saying? I think it's Knowledge Born Allowed on Cash App. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And, but mainly, if you like to be a guest on the show, or you want to get products or services or particular things that you have going on out, you have to, you know, email me at doknowledgeradio@gmail.com or hit me up on the social media sites, www.blogtalkradio.com/
Black entrepreneurs need to be advertising on your shows.
Right. And Knowledge Born 15 on Twitter, Knowledge Born Alive 357 on Instagram.
When I edit this, I'm gonna post all that information.
Okay. And you know, we have a YouTube channel. Check us out on YouTube. We have a book series coming up, 790 episodes and counting. You understand what I'm saying? So we have a book series that is coming that's going to be dedicated to, you know, all of the stories, all of the behind the scenes. You know, we have a Patreon account, Do Knowledge Radio on Patreon. You know, all of our exclusive content will be there, along with the web series. You know, we're adding a virtual component along with the book series. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that's in the works between this year and next year. And, you know, we're working collaboratively with other platforms as well to, you know, continue to control our narrative, you know. So check out liberationmindedmedia.net. Also, you know, My Skin is My Sin, Black I Stand Radio, and, you know, those platforms that I named earlier. You know, we got a Black Entrepreneur Media Coalition going on. You see
that's what's up, man. That's beautiful. That's powerful. It's much needed. Everybody watching this video, getting this message, support, man. Get in the game, get in the business, call in, listen in, support, donate to, advertise your products through, right? We can't circulate the dollar if we don't circulate the word. We have to have media. We have to control our own narrative. All right, Born, I'm gonna have to get you to come in and visit my virtual classroom, visit the Uhuru Academy online here soon to talk about what you do, man. We have an entrepreneurship class, an entrepreneurship program. So definitely want to get you in there as an African-centered entrepreneur to talk about what you do and encourage my babies, man, to become owners and producers.
That's right.
All right. Well, brother, I'm not gonna keep you any longer. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing, dropping those jewels. I mean, you pulled out the blueprint for Black Power.
I got to shout out one more book before I go. One more book before I go, if I may.
Yes, sir.
Our brother, Uncle Nu of Amin Su has written this excellent book. You know, this is my prop book. This ain't the book I read and work out of. You understand? 666-page book on Nile Valley culture, comedic science is not a rumor. You see what I'm saying? Accept no substitutes. Go to www.haninsu.com. This is remembering those six.
Young powerful scholar, man. Young powerful scholar that's going in the temples. Go reading off the walls, making it happen.
That's right.
Powerful brother, man. Powerful. Actually, got some readings from him and his queen, and they've helped us out a lot, on a personal level. So that is a powerful. Thank you for plugging that book.
One more book. Couple more books, right quick. I got it.
Go ahead, drop it, knowledge. That's why they call you Knowledge Born Out Loud.
This is Inya Sazim by esteemed elder and Wali K. Bomani Baruti of House Akabin Institute, 20 years strong, African Centered Education Institute. Over 21 books. I have every last one of those books, every single one of those books. You understand what I'm saying? So I got, this is one with 365 revolutionary thoughts, one per day, per year. You see what I'm saying? So you can reflect on your day, get your day started right. Also, a Safo. So we're dealing in that spirit of African Centered liberation and warriorhood. Boom. We got a Safo.
Yeah.
We got Message to the Warriors. You see what I'm saying? A comprehensive experience. We have young children reading these books. You see what I'm saying? And studying these books and going through these books here. You see what I'm saying? A warrior's love, because they think, we dealing with hatred, and when we start talking about, love, conspiracy, we talking about love for our people and for our future. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So, seeing each other's divinity and our own divinity.
And we got the falsification of African consciousness, Bob Amos Wilson. You see what I'm saying? And where we're getting into the Eurocentric history, the psychiatric year, and the politics of white supremacy. Folks ain't know some politics of white supremacy. the psychopathic racial personality, one of my personal favorites, from Dr. Bobby Eugene Wright, esteemed warrior, scholar, and ancestor. Urugu, make sure y'all go get this from Dr. Remember.
Gotta have Urugu.
Gotta have it. I see a lot of these book challenges, Baba. A lot of book challenges, they got these books up to their head. They ain't read none of them. They need to read them. You understand what I'm saying?
They get them and study them. They're not story books. Those are reference books. You study those books.
We got Blood in My Eye, by Warrior, ancestor, George Lester Jackson, Blood in My Eye, right here. So we got that. And we got the destruction of Black civilization. You see, we was talking about media and the media response today. You see what I'm saying? We do not allow our enemies to control our narrative and control how we think, act, and feel about those who stood for us. And I could not be complete without saying this. We have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s day tomorrow, not his birthday, but the celebration. You see what I'm saying? So spend that time, ensuring that we get a proper propaganda message to what Dr. King stood for. You see what I'm saying? In his formative years, and do not allow the media to control or dispel or distort any of the imagery of our honorable ancestors. We stand for them all, and we can take an opportunity to learn from everything that they did, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent. There's a lesson in it.
I'm definitely gonna get up and do a morning bill dedicated to Dr. King in the morning, and
everything that we lay claim to in regards to how we move forward, ancestrally, now and in the future. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Powerful conversation, powerful dialogue. Drop the Jews. Y'all saw the curriculum. He threw the curriculum right there in front of the camera.
There's a couple of them,
Hey, I be trying to tell them that, a lot of us jump on YouTube, and you might see somebody with a crown on their head, and they
Right.
sitting there spitting. They reading them books and just reading it back to you.
Right.
Go get the source material. Go get. There's no substitute for study. There's
That's
still certain things that you only gonna find in the book.
Right.
You're only gonna find it in the book. The true seekers understand what I'm saying.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. I thank the Creator. I thank the ancestors for you coming in. I thank the creating ancestors for everybody who listened in live and for everybody who's going to listen in to the recorded message, because it's going to be right there on YouTube. I'll be promoting it and pushing it and get as many people to listen to it as possible. We're going to grow. We still growing. We're still growing together. So I want to say peace to you, Knowledge Born Allah. I want to say peace to everybody that listen. Black Power.
Black Power.
Let's get this together. Peace.
Peace.
Appreciate you, brother.